Hey guys, this is CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. It's in Northwest Louisiana. Come check us out. And you guys are going to love this. You guys are going to love this. I have a batch of catfish fillets. And yes, I'm Southern, but no, I did not catch this. I'm not really a fisherman, but I do love to go to a good fish market. Okay, so um, yeah, these are catfish fillets. Uh, I had them. I took them out when I thought they were. They're probably mostly thawed. I put them in uh, flour that is seasoned with, to your taste, Old Bay seasoning, and then for me, since I like a little extra kick, I put a little bit of ground cayenne, ground powdered red pepper. Okay, and I did not add additional salt because there's some of the salt in the Old Bay seasoning, and that Old Bay seasoning, primarily it has some celery salt in it, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of onion. It has its fair amount of paprika in it, and so you don't have to do that much, but you want this kind of a lighter color. I put it in a really good hot fish grease. uh, on medium on stovetop. Now, so here's the secret ingredient for me. I take a couple of sliced onions. The uh, the aromatics of the onion really just get in with this fish. Now, uh, if I were, and then like so, I just kind of like let it soak. I like let the aromatics come through, and yeah. So I just have a just one onion, and I'm just going to slice as I need. So that's my secret for a really great catfish. Uh, and I will probably do a little tasting with this later on. Uh, oh, gee, there's enough time in this video because there is no more secret to this. This is a really hot grease. I'm using a non-stick, and I'm using a deep pot, and so I'm deep frying. And it's a good crispiness that gets going. I actually could have let it go a little bit longer, and perhaps I will on the next batch. We'll see. But either way, you don't want you don't want when you take your fish out. You don't want it to if it's not crispy enough, it'll fall apart. And you also want to keep an eye on the viscosity of your oil that you're using. Also, for me, just a general. Uh, Canola or vegetable oil will work well for this, and fry it. Probably, I would say 4.5 minutes on each side, give or take, considering the size of these. But you want your grease to be at least, I put a lid on mine, so the temperature gets hotter also. But, you want to watch if you're using a Teflon coating because you don't want to go too high with the Teflon coating. That's why I say you don't really go over, um, uh, medium heat on your range top. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to pause this. We'll do a tasting in the same video. Hey, so here we are, and I have finished. I have one, two, three, four, five, six. Uh, so this is the equivalent maybe of, six smaller catfish. And catfish can grow huge, by the way. They can grow as huge as this box that I'm draining it in. The onion has a twofold purpose. One is the aromatics, the fumes of the onion really give the fish something. It gives it some awesomeness. I learned this from someone. Where was it? Oh my God. Uh, I'll just say a little over 20 years ago, give or take, whatever. I was over at someone's house and we were having a fish fry and they had these large purple onions and they were cutting. Of course, they were making a lot of uh, fried fish. So yes, I'm going to be having some leftover mac and cheese with this as a side. I made some mac and cheese and cut up some andouille sausage, and you know, and then made a mac and cheese and andouille bake out of it. But you're really gonna love this. What's in here? So I took the breading, which was a white flour, and I added a little bit appropriate amount. I went to the ratio of what I would do for a biscuit. So per cup of flour, I put in, maybe a tablespoon. Not per cup of flour. There was about 2 cups. So I put in the 2 cups, 1, 2, 3. I guess cup and a half, whatever. I'm eyeballing probably about 2 cups worth of product here. What I did was I put baking powder, 1 tablespoon of baking powder in the bowl, just eyeballed it, dropped in 2 eggs, and then a little bit of oil. Of course, I was going to be frying in the oil anyway, but I put a little bit of oil, and then a little bit, to smooth it out, a little bit of milk. And I made these balls. These are like, they're biscuits. And then the batter was just a little bit wet, and it wasn't going to congeal the way I wanted to. So I used some Italian-style breadcrumbs. And I did this because, hush puppies, this is sort of a version of a hush puppy, is normally made with cornmeal and corn flour. Or a combination of this white breading flour that I used, and then some cornmeal. You would use I didn't have that. The reason why I think the recipe calls for that, because a lot of people traditionally will blend cornmeal and flour. I basically just did not do that. I didn't use cornmeal. And then I put it in the grease, and oh yeah, I don't see anything coming out of it, leaking out of it. So basically, what you would do is you would make a biscuit. Make the biscuit, and then add 2 eggs to help the congeal. It'll help it hold together. You want a very stiff. Ball, not extremely, not hard, not super dense or anything like that, because this is not dense. But you do want to make sure that it's going to be able to hold together. I could be scooping this out with the spoon or something. Let me put this on pause, get these out, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you, because I see I'm starting to get a little brown on the bottom here. All right then, so I've got them out and I've got everything draining in this box. So I saved these can boxes, these 12-ounce can boxes, and they're great for draining. I learned this from a restaurant that I worked at. And then sometimes, if you need to, you can line it with paper towels and things like that. But usually, for something like this, this is going to suffice. So. So I took the rest of the flour from here that I told you about at the beginning of this video, and I made these. And I figured it was probably a cup and a half, 2 cups worth. What I did was I said 2 eggs, and probably about an appropriate amount. I reduced the fluids that I would normally put in, because I added the eggs, which are wet. So instead of adding half a cup, which is what I would do for this amount, I added maybe a third of a cup. No. Somewhat. No. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of a measurement. I suck at fractions. Between a fourth of a cup and a half a cup. Uh, so a fourth and an eighth of a cup. Figure that shit up if you want to. And then I doubled the amount of milk. And I kind of just went with eyeballing texture on that. And then if it was a little bit moist, and like I said, I wanted something, even the eggs are to help it bind. And then I wanted something else to help it bind. And so I used some of this, the Italian style breadcrumb. And just kind of work with it until you get a texture. I did take some onion and chop in. You do that with any sort of hush puppies. It's a fried biscuit, basically with mixed in with some breadcrumb, primarily on the outside. But when you're mixing and handling, breadcrumb is going to get on the inside too, and then also onion. And then of course I chopped onion to let these drain on top of the onion. And the reason why is when it's elevated, it drips down a little more and becomes less and less soggy overall. And then I put the some minced chopped onions on it or whatever. So that's good for garnish. You actually, at this point, if you wanted to, if you had a little flour left, if you want to take these, the ring parts, and you can make your onion rings. I don't really do onion rings. I probably won't even eat these onions. They're here for aromatics at this point. But if someone loves an onion, hook them up, do some onion rings or do something. If you were doing mashed potatoes, then you could chop up the onion and then mash it, put a little milk or cream in it, and then pipe it through a pastry if you wanted to on top of a cookie sheet, and then really broil it. Like the potatoes are already done and they're already formed. So what you do is you have your broiler and you put this under a broiler, those what we call lionized or leonized potatoes, so that they get nice and crispy like a meringue. Has to happen really fast though. Has to get brown really fast so that the outside will brown, but the potatoes will not melt. So you can work on that if you want to try something fun that will just wow your friends and family. Okay, let's do a tasting. I'm gonna actually pause the video. It's probably gonna be a good half hour for me before I eat, because when I finish cooking, I need to decompress. Cooking for me is almost like eating, and I get to eat on this for the next few days. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we've had really, really bad storms, and last week I needed to cook a lot of food all at once. That was in the refrigerator, and that was fine. But I wanted to cook it all at once because we were having outages, and I'd already had like a power outage that lasted for a few hours, and then we had a really bad storm last Thursday. Now, last Thursday, I don't think I had an outage. If it did, it happened when I was sleeping, and it was short-lived. But just about everybody else in my city, like 60% of the people in that big storm that swept through the South, the whole storm system, there spun off tornadoes and everything like that. So there's right now there are 2,800 employees from our power company, and coming from other areas that are here, but currently 2,800 working on restoring power that went out Thursday. So keep those people in your prayers, But yeah, fortunately, my food did not go bad, but you want to maybe have enough if you. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, if we have any more bad weather in the near future, I know that if there's a power outage, I know that it's not going to be like a local outage. It will be on top of other outages, and so they won't have time to really get around and do it like they would if it were just a localized outage. It was almost a brownout. That's the language that they used. So we get tornadoes and we get used to this kind of stuff, so we know how we can rotate our stalks out and stuff like that. So, but yeah. Okay, so pause the video, and then I'm going to do a tasting video. Or I'm going to pause the video and come back, and we'll do a tasting, same video. Okay, so I'm going to try to finish this. Let me just say, um, I'm sitting at my dining table, and so this is the fish, and I brought over a little of the onion for garlic. I mean, for garnish. uh, there is, garlic in the flour that I use for the breading, which I in turn use for this fried biscuit, which I'm going to call, in case I haven't already said, I'm going to call this a Whisper Kitty. I think, let me just rearrange this here. The hell, I'm eating it, and I can rearrange it. Let me just maybe kind of turn it, there we go. Put a little onion up there for some garlic. Let it be Whiskers. Oh, this is never going to work. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's staying up there. So, yeah, if you just use your mind and imagine these were eyeballs, not eyeballs. They look like eyeballs from down here, or eyebrows. Down here, ooh, I'm going to turn them up a little bit. I want them to look like whiskers on a kitty. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to call them whiskers. There's a cat food called Whiskas, but I don't know. Whisper kitties. Instead of hush puppies, whisper kitties, made with white flour rather than cornmeal. I'm most interested in this because I haven't done this before. But whatever, whatever. I'm not really great at fried breads. But I think I did okay this time. I'm interested. Let's get a taste. Okay, so this I did the other day. It was the box macaroni and cheese, but I kind of souped it up on Dewey. I added bits of smoked Gouda all throughout and real butter, breadcrumbs. So I mean, it's like it was a generic like mac and cheese too, but I kind of adulted it a little bit. You might say it's adulterated. Still tastes good. Obviously, I was starved for carbs because I just dove into that. Over here, this is a little bit a drizzle in case I wanted some moisture on the plate or whatever of the yum yum sauce. Now, the yum yum sauce, very similar to what we used to make in South Louisiana when we were frying food that we caught out of the bayou, and it's like it's a mayo ketchup blend with a little bit of this or that, and it's pretty close to a special sauce. A lot of people have them, Big Mac sauce. Uh, um, oh, Raising Cane's chicken fingers. If you're familiar with that, they have them. Let me just taste this without it first. Mm. Oh, that fish is really delicious. It's basically here for the heck of it, but let me taste it anyway. There are horseradish sauces out there that are very similar. That have a little twist of horseradish. This does not. But let me tell you, I love it. Okay, do you guys? Some of you guys are not local. You're elsewhere, and do you know who Justin Wilson is? He was. Now he's a Louisiana guy, a Cajun guy, and I used to watch him on Louisiana Public Television. LPB, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. PBS, local PBS, and that was back when we had three main networks, and then we had a dial that you would turn, and you could turn in some UHF short range. So I didn't know if he ever got syndicated or not. I'm sure he's written lots of books and stuff. He's not with us anymore, but he was noted for being a humorist, told lots of jokes. And I watched a lot of his show growing up, and he would when he made Cajun food, which was what he did. I mean, he always he would talk with his natural self, which was French Cajun influenced in Louisiana, but he sure would get into it, and then he put that inflection in, and he would say things, and he would speak it, and it would be and then he would have fun because he knew his dialect or his accent, and knew that it was a little bit of fun. He had a little fun with it, and he had a catchphrase, and his catchphrase was, "I guarantee." So let's see if I can guarantee this is a. What we want to do is we want to make sure first of all that it's done throughout. Mm, and it is. Okay, that's the important thing. You don't want someone to bite into this and the center of it be like a runny, wet dough. You want it cooked. So I was very happy. So this is something that you can also dip in your garnishing if you want a little moisture, a little extra. Mm. Mm. Fried biscuit. Now, um, later on, I will have to get back on a keto diet when I know that I'm going to have foods that are a little bit heavier, like the day before yesterday. The reason I kind of got into catfish is the day before yesterday or Saturday. Yeah, today's Monday. So we took the family, actually my sister actually, took us all out to celebrate my father's, Father's Day, early Father's Day. So, mm, 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 mm. That is primarily uh, a mayonnaise that has a little bit of ketchup in it, and then there's some. I'm not a big ketchup person at all, but then there's other things, but to blend it to get it where it needs to get. But that's the basis of it. Some people might even put a little bit of mustard in it. I don't like mustard in the catfish, and I actually fry my catfish in flour because that's what I have on hand, and I don't fry it enough to buy cornmeal, and I don't make cornbread at home enough to keep a bag of cornmeal around. Uh, when I know I'm in that mood for a lot of seafood, then I maybe will get a big container of Zatarain's um, um, fish fry, But that's just when I know I want to just suddenly grab something and shake it up and make a quick shortcut. But it's always more fun and more relaxing for me to do something like this for myself. That hush puppy, wisp that whisper kitty is very delicious and very filling. And yeah, I'm gonna let you go so I can get back to my meal. But bon appetit, y'all. Love, light. Uh, Good night. Oh, and P.S. Do send your prayers and love and light and good energy to the people uh, who are still without power from the Thursday night storm. I mean, from my area all the way over to Florida, even in that storm system, there's a lot of people that's out. So, uh, you know, um, okay, I love you guys. Night.